Hello, today we are going to work on the basics of getting your crow pose. All you need is a little bit of confidence, a little bit of patience, and a mat. So hop on, let's work on this crow pose. So today we are going to learn a little bit more about crow pose. One of my favorite and first inversions that I learned. It's a little bit scary, but we're just gonna go through a little bit of the basics so that you can kind of get an idea on what to think about when you're practicing it. It will not be perfect the first time you do it, nor the second or third time. It is a inversion, so it takes a little bit of time and practice to be able to get as great as you want. And even if you think, once you have it down or have the idea or basic down, there's always, more and more steps to bring it up and up. So we're always practicing, we're always learning, we're always improving ourselves, even in our yoga practice. But today we're just going to kind of learn about the basics, a few basic cues for you. But before we do that, we're just going to warm up our wrists. So we're just going to start bringing our arms and just bringing our hands in a little bit of circles. Start warming our wrists up one way and then another. Since our wrists are basically going to be the brunt of what holds us up today, we want to make sure they're really warmed up. So just take a few more wrist circles here. And then we're going to just come into all fours, bringing our hands underneath us. And then we're going to slowly start to just rock back and forth a few times. And then we're going to bring our hands and bring them out to the side so they're pointing out, and we're just going to rock back and forth. Side to side. Rock side to side here. And then we're going to bring our hands and flip them underneath so the top of our hands are on our mat. And we're just going to slowly, just very slightly lean backwards. Don't put too much pressure, just lean backwards a little bit so that stretches slightly. If it hurts or anything, don't pull back that much. And then we're going to take our hands and flip them so our fingers are facing our knees. Just like before, we're just going to lean back slightly. And when I mean slightly, I mean slightly, very little. Then we're just going to come back, do a couple more wrist circles. Then we're going to just bring our hands out in front of us, take the top of our right hand, grab our left hand, and just pull our left hand back. And then on the other side, on the right hand. And then on the left hand, pull the wrist down, hand down. And then on the right hand, a couple more wrist circles, shake them out, shake it, shake it, shake it. Great. So to start in crow pose, we're going to bring our hands firmly onto the ground, kind of claw it a little bit, I would even say. Your hands don't have to be flat. You can curl up the tops of your fingers so you have a kind of grip. And then from here, we're just going to kind of sit on our heels. Our hands don't have to be too far in front of us. And where we're going to start is we're just going to start with the action of moving our hips up. So we're going to bring our hips up and start to lean forward. Maybe resting your knees on your biceps or triceps. Just resting your knees on the back of the arms. Lift your hips up and bring forward, resting your knees. And that might be where you end today. Just lifting up and resting. Gaze forward. Don't gaze straight down at your hands. Trust your hands. They know what they're doing. They're holding you up. Gaze forward. Because if you gaze down, that might mean you topple over. Because your body is more weighted down, so you might topple over. So gaze forward. Lift up. And relax. Amazing. Now, that's where you could stop. Or if you like, we can keep moving forward. Hands on the mat. Lift up. Start to lean forward even more. Maybe this time you bring your left foot up. Bring it down. Bring your right foot up. Bring it down. Remember, gaze forward at the top of your mat. It might be here. You just move in your legs back and forth. Come back down. Awesome. Practice that. Practice coming up. Bringing your feet up and down. Remember, keep engaging that core. So let's go again. Bringing your legs up. Here. You can stop here. Maybe you left foot, right foot. And now, maybe once you do that, you might be able to lift both feet up and come down. Maybe, maybe not. Lift up. And trust yourself. Engage the core, look forward. Root your hands down. And relax. So the three kind of options or steps. Root your hands down onto the mat. Lift up. Place your knees kind of high up towards your armpits a little bit. Here, this is might be where you end today. Or take a next step. Root up, lift your left foot, lift your right foot, and come down. Practice that. That could be all. Take a next step. Now, when you feel safe enough, you can lift your arms up, bring your knees about into the armpits a little bit. Slowly start to move forward, gaze forward, and if you feel confident enough, lift those feet up a little bit, and then you can drop down. It all takes practice. It all takes patience. It takes confidence. And you might fall over. You might topple. I have toppled so many times. But you just got to be aware that that will happen. Don't give up. You'll get there eventually. I'm still working on mine. But if you take those few steps, practice them over and over, start to gain a little bit more strength in the core, in the wrists, in the arms, you'll be able to do crow. And then, of course, many other poses beside that. But that's kind of just the basics of how to crow. Basics. Thank you for joining me. And let's all do crow together.